Ah, geez, you again?
Yeah, it's that time of year.
It's okay. It's always a pleasure, Dave.
Cecil just seems to go on and on and on. And sometimes it does. We've gone longer than this.
I think our record's 3.5 hours.
Is it? Okay, well, 5th anniversary, we'll probably have to try and break that record in spite of ourselves. Let's see, where were we? We were with Christon.
Christon was asking about how many copies of Cerebus #1 you currently own. I think we covered that completely.
We covered that part. It's well storied that many copies of the original 2000 print run were damaged. Did they all actually make it into society? Do you believe that there are 2,000 authentic copies still out in the world? Unfortunately, a few years ago, I came to the realization that I own a counterfeit copy of Cerebus #1. The good news, though, when researching for identifiers to determine authentic versus fake, I ran into Amok. And with that website, I've been here and happier since. I appreciate you, Manly.
Thank you,
Christon. You are appreciated. Okay, no, they weren't damaged. They were misprinted. There was too much black ink on the press, and it smudged the line between Cerebus's right hand and the sword hilt, and around one of the horns on his helmet. This was the thing that I noticed back in the day when I had a ferocious temper about things like this. Going through all of the copies, sitting in the living room at 48 Weaver Street East, and it's like, this is just unacceptable. This is like when you compared them to a good copy. This is just complete incompetence, and it was all Moyer Press was doing was the covers. They had farmed out getting the guts done to Fairway Press, and all you're doing is the cover, and this is the job that you deliver. Like, it's just, no, we're gonna have a set to about this. I think if you can Google search Cerebus #1 online, Google image individual copies, you're bound to find good copies that went to Grand Rapids and or Big Rapids distribution, and now and then books, and you can see the difference between those and the Seagate copies. Like I say, just look at where Cerebus's hand is holding the sword hilt, and then look up at his helmet, and there's like smudging right around where one of the horns is attached to the helmet. In terms of how many of them still exist, that would be guesswork based on virtually all of them still exist, insofar as they all went to comic book stores, or the vast majority went to comic book stores, and they were #1s. Like, by 1977, people in comic book stores definitely knew the #1 is going to be the most valuable if it's going to ever get any value to it. So if you're going to hang on to anything, it's going to be the #1. That would be the virtually all of them argument. The most of them argument, they would have been perceived as fanzines in most places. Star Reach publications existed, but not top of mind in comic book stores. But most stores sold fanzines. And they wouldn't even have been perceived as prozines because I hadn't been published too many places. The average comic store would have seen and like I wasn't considered a pro. Nobody would automatically go, "Oh, Dave Sim, comic book pro." It would be you'd really have to know some esoteric environments to even know that Dave Sim had been published, which would make me a fan artist and anything that I published a fanzine. In California, they were mostly seen as undergrounds because that was the distinction there. There were overground comics and underground comics. Comics and comics, CS and X on the end was, that's a California distinction. And undergrounds were less disposable than fanzines, but more disposable than comic books. The vast majority of people got their underground comic, read it, and went, "Oh, wow, far out, man." And then, used it to light a fire or whatever else. It's like, it's a comic book. Comic books are for reading. Only weird geeks put them in plastic bags and keep them in perfect condition. So, but those are all completely speculative. You could check the CGC census, which would tell you how many of them have been slabbed. But the problem with those is sometimes books get reslabbed. Somebody goes, I think this is a higher grade than 8.5. I'm going to crack it out of the case and send it in again. Well, you send it in again, and that gets on the census as another copy. And it's not another copy. It's the same copy has been graded twice. That led into another question. Oh, yes. I don't expect you to reveal any specific information, but did you ever actually find out who it was that counterfeited your book? Perhaps where it was printed from. Again, I don't want details. I'm just curious if you found some answers. Did anyone confess or was tracked down and arrested? No. Do I have my own theory as to who did it? Yes. Based on access to a printing press, knowledge of the comic book field, how comic book stores worked, and pre-press capabilities. This ties in with your comment. We answered number 2 back in the last 5 years. I don't remember when, but there were slightly more than 2,000 copies of number 1. About half were damaged and sold to Seagate. Again, no, they weren't damaged. They were misprinted. I believe Denny's office copy with the handwritten corrections that Sean got for the remastering was one of those. And Sean has said that the counterfeits are slightly better printing than Denny's office copy. So I suspect that the counterfeiters had one of the good 1,000. Yes, they sourced the counterfeit from either a Big Rapids or Now and Then copy. It would have been too difficult to correct the smudging for the rocket scientists who couldn't figure out how to imitate the register mark on the back cover or how to keep the dust from the copying that they did, the newsprint from the interior pages. That's pretty basic pre-press stuff. So we're not talking about world-class counterfeiters it's like, oh, hey, this should be pretty easy to do. We'll just do this, and we'll do this, and we'll do this. Going back to talking about recreating Cerebus number 1, the fact that you're saying that you would bid on recreated Cerebus number 1 pages, and I got 2 of them done. Well, that definitely helps. I have a bidder now. I just need one other bidder. I have to decide whether I'm going to do page 3 before the middle of this month, because if I'm going to do a triptych of the first 3 pages, and that's really the direction that I would be leaning in with the experience with the Cerebus pages auctioned one at a time. Probably do the 3 pages, do it as a triptych, but I'm still inclined to wait and see before sending them to Heritage Auctions to see how the Wolverine triptych does. Like part of me is going, okay, all we're talking about here is early Cerebus number 1 cover recreations. So just recreate an easy early cover, like number 1 or number 16. That the Cerebus archive has the originals of, and say, okay, that's going to take maybe an afternoon on either one of them, and if it goes for 4,000 or 5,000, well, that's a well-spent afternoon. But also thinking, well, okay, Christon, I'm leaning in the direction of doing the 3rd page. I'm leaning in the direction of doing a triptych. Fallback position, auctioning the number 1 and number 2 page through Heritage Auctions, with the bad experience on the market dropping out once you get past page 3 or page 4. What would you pay for me to recreate Cerebus number 1 just for you?
Oh, to have money.
Well, that's the thing. It's I don't know. Christon is definitely one of my top art patrons, particularly lately. So it's one of those. Well, number 1 and 2 pages do exist. What would you pay to not have them go to Heritage Auctions, where you would be saving the buyer's premium, which is enormous, right?
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, they say, oh, the buyer's premium is I think 20% or whatever, and you're going, okay, that's fine, and then you bid $50, but it tells you, well, with the buyer's premium it's $79, and you're like, that's not $50.
No, that's some pretty healthy percentages there.
I mean, that's you quickly turn into one of the Marx brothers looking at it's going for how much?
Yeah. You say 50, I say 75. You say 100, I say 125. I got a lot of numbers. So I will throw it over to you, Christon, in terms of if you want to make a credible offer, saying, well, you can't afford to buy all 22 pages right now, but all 22 pages don't exist. So you want to keep it out of the hands of Heritage Auctions and actually buy them yourself. Okay, well, whatever you would have offered, however high you would go in Heritage Auctions bidding, add another 20% to that, because that would be going to me instead of Heritage Auctions, and say, well, okay, this is what I'll pay for page 1 and page 2. On my side, I'm willing to go through Cerebus number 1 and go, okay, some of these pages would go for more money than others. It's, the Petunia page. Okay, here's what I think are the A-list pages, which I would expect you to pay more for. And here are the B-list pages, which, I would be willing to let go for less than that. Obviously, the splash page we go for more than just about anything else. It's, we're both looking at the same chessboard. It's just, I'm the guy with the art, you're the guy with the money.
Well, and then there's the skeleton fight pages, which are Dave recreating these while fill in your blacks and see how much drawing's left.
Right. And I actually know how to draw skeletons now. It's like you can make the call of, I want, this Cerebus number 1 page to look exactly the way it does in Cerebus number 1, and then go, if you want to do better skeletons, I'm up for better skeletons. Because it's your page, have it your way at Burger King.
Again, if only I had money.
Yes, that kind of money. We've all got money, but it's
well, there's money, and then there's money.
Capital M money. Yes.
There's the I have enough money that let's go and buy something that no one in their right mind should be buying money. And then there's, hey, I can afford groceries this week, money. And I'm very much in the latter.
Right. And Heritage Auctions is just this mind-boggling. That's a really nice copy of All-Star number 8. And it's the first appearance of Wonder Woman. But it costs as much money as I could scrape together everywhere that I could get cash on hand, and I wouldn't have money for anything else. And somebody else has obviously money that's in that category who goes, well, okay, it's not exactly coach change, but it's not life or death money either. It's I can afford to buy this All-Star number 8 and still keep up with all of my other expenses.
Well,
it's the mind boggles.
What's driving me nuts, because I get the emails, because I signed up for Dave Sims, Cerebus, Gerhard. That's my watch list, because that way I know when stuff's up, so I can let people know. But I also get just their weekly, hey, this is what we're auctioning, and I go through and I'm like, got it. But it's like the first appearance of the Hobgoblin slabbed. It's like, well, I have it. Mine's not slabbed, and if I took it to get it slabbed, they'd probably laugh me out of the building. Because that's one of the issues I got in my year's subscription that used to be stored in an old shoebox before I...
Ah, yes.
I mean, it's the appropriate malphorism is well-loved.
Yes.
And
yes.
But their new thing is they're doing video games, and I'm going... Okay, I understand baseball cards. Slabbing a baseball card makes total sense to me. You can flip it over. You can see both sides. You own and can possess the baseball card and still, get a little bit of functionality out of it. Slabbing comics is where I go, okay, but now you can't read it. And while, okay, yeah, most things are reprinted, blah, blah, blah. But now it's like slabbing video games. And I go, okay, there's no way you can... I mean, I get it. It's a vintage 1982 Spider-Man Atari, cassette in the box, unopened.
Right.
Like, there's some Spider-Man fan who has to have that in his life. I own that game. I in theory, have access to a possibly working Atari 2600. I could play Spider-Man if I wanted. It's like...
Yeah.
But, like, my copy, again, they'd laugh me out of the building because it's like, well, it's not in the box, blah, blah, blah. And, like, when my mom was moving out of her house, my brother and I had the boxes the video game systems came in with the original styrofoam. And the only thing wrong with them was that we cut the UPC off to send in for the warranty. And it's like, we're cleaning the house out, and they went in a dumpster because these are worthless. And then a few years back, I went into the video game store.
They're not worthless anymore.
I went into the video game store, and a guy had a Nintendo in the box. The Nintendo didn't work, but the guy at the store bought the box for $200 because he could repackage a working Nintendo in it and sell it for a couple grand. And I'm going, and I threw the boxes away because they're quote-unquote worthless. You know, the collector-hoarder mentality, that's when you start going, I have to save everything. It's like you're saving crap everyone else is saving. It's young blood number one. Nobody is going to make money on this.
Yeah, and it turns into a lottery ticket thing. You're using up all of your living space on the idea that one of these lottery tickets is gonna bring in billions of dollars, but meanwhile you don't have any living space.
I get the email, like, the big one was, it was trading cards, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I know that trading cards are worth money, blah, blah, blah. But at the bottom and now we're doing Funko Pops, and I'm like, Heritage, you need to start saying no when people bring their boxes of crap.
No, I don't think so, because they have got all of the most sentimental, deep-pocketed people on the planet, where just about anybody is going to look at one of those things and go, it's a 9.8, I've got to have it. That's mine. No one else is going to win this auction, no matter how much money I have to bid. And God bless Heritage Auctions that they started early and built that if you build it, they will come if you're Heritage Auction.